Shalom friends, brothers and sisters. As we enter in the season of Pesach, I want to give you a word about the recent book that I have released that is called Besorah according to COVID-19. People ask me the question, what is so important about this book, Rabbi Shapira, that you're talking about it non-stop, day in and day out? Friends, the Bible is giving us patterns, and the redemption, the Geulah, as we call it, is a pattern. And the prophet Micah, in the 7th chapter, told us that the pattern that the final redemption going to come, he says in verse 15, is similar to the very first redemption, the way that you have received it from Moses. So in the story of Exodus, we're seeing everything. We're seeing the COVID-19, we're seeing the plague, we're seeing lockdown, we're seeing mutation, and we're also seeing how the redemption is going to come to the world. So now we don't have COVID-19, or COVID-19 is shrinking. Does that mean that everything is okay? The answer is no. We are part. This is part of the birthing pangs, the birth pangs of the Messiah. We are birthing right now the Messiah. Israel is called a woman who is in labor. And I want us together to learn how we can see Messiah appear into the world. We need to understand where we are in this birthing process right now. And that's why the Besorah according to COVID-19 is unlike any other book ever written. It's going to challenge your view of end time, of eschatology. It's going to challenge you to understand your role in the last days. If you think that you have nothing to do, just accept to sit down and pray for a rapture, think again. God has a great plan, and God has a great purpose for you. And it's time for you to discover this purpose in these last days. So we rejoice that God is raising you up in these last days. But you need to know what you're raised, what God is raising you for. And for that reason, I wrote the Besorah according to COVID-19. It's available in many languages now. I urge you, get the book in your hand. Become a man or a woman of purpose, divine calling for these last days. God bless you, and I promise you, you have been called by name for a time like this. When Moses went up to the heaven, he went alone. Why is it? Because the rabbis explained to us there was assignment for him in the heavens. There is assignment for you in the heavens. And this is what it is about right now, discovering the assignment that God has for you. And you discover quickly the assignment that God has for you in these last days. God bless you, and there's good news. You're being raised up without a doubt. Joe, if you don't mind unmuting yourself, hit the unmute button. Here we go. Here we go. Very good. Very good. Shalom, everybody, and welcome to a very special broadcast this evening.
Bienvenidos todos y bienvenidos a un enlace esta noche.
In just a few minutes, I'm going to be joining with Rabbi Bernstein to take all of your questions for the Chag.
En unos momentos vamos a estar agregándonos con el rabino Bernstein para tomar todas sus preguntas sobre este Chag.
And we're going to try over the next 90 minutes to answer as many questions as possible to make sure that you have a blessed Chag Pesach.
Y vamos a intentar en los próximos 90 minutos contestar tantas preguntas posibles para asegurar que tengan el mejor Chag posible.
I want to deal, before we start with anything else, with something that just happened a few minutes ago.
Antes de que tratemos con cualquier otra cosa, quiero hablar sobre lo que acaba de pasar unos momentos.
As I was going here locally, I had a chance to meet with the local chief Sephardic rabbi of Dallas.
Mientras estaba aquí local, tuve la oportunidad de encontrarme con el rabino encargado de esta área.
And he agreed to let me put this video on the broadcast today.
Él estuvo de acuerdo de poner este enlace en el aire hoy.
So today we want to introduce you to a new concept that is called kept matzah.
Hoy los queremos introducir a un concepto nuevo llamado kept matzah,
A special matzah.
un matzah especial.
Matzah shmura. It's called in Hebrew matzah shmura.
Se llama en hebreo matzah shmura.
It might be too late to get the matzah shmura, but for some of you, it still might be a possibility.
Quizás sea un poco tarde para algunos poder lograr agarrar esto, pero algunos sí es posible.
So as this video playing with my good friend Rabbi Ronen Shimon,
Mientras ven este video con nuestro rabino Shimon,
I want you to start to cue your questions into the chat.
quiero que empiecen a preparar sus preguntas y los pongan en el chat abajo.
And we will get, I see people from all over the world here today.
Vemos gente de todos lados del mundo hoy.
And we have the answers that you're looking for today. So start to submit those questions, and we're going to take them in English or Spanish.
Y tenemos las respuestas que están buscando hoy, así que someten sus preguntas en inglés o en español.
But let's take just a few minutes and listen to Rabbi Shimon. And from this, we will go straight to the Q&A session.
Vamos a tomar unos minutos para escuchar el rabino Shimon y de ahí vamos a ir a las preguntas y respuestas.
Please hit the like and the share and let us enter in.
Por favor, gusten y comparten este enlace para seguir adelante.
Shalom everybody and Bruchim Habayim. I'm actually here right now in North Dallas in the house of the wonderful Rabbi Ronen Shimon, who is the leading Sephardi rabbi here in Dallas, a dear really friend and a man of God. And actually there's some amazing things. This is, by the way, those who are in Dallas, I will tell you this, DFW. If you want to get the best quality of kosher meat, really, and the most fairest prices also, that really made by Holy Hand, I know him, I know his wife, I encourage you, and I will link it, get the kosher meat here, because one of the things that the rabbi is doing that really touched my heart, he's doing a lot of work helping children that really need special needs. It's all, it's non-profit, all of it is non-profit. So I really feel compelled to tell you, we need to support it, especially my students. This is a great place to come to find the meat. Now, this year when we do the Pesach, remember Friday night, Saturday night, Rabbi Shimon and his wife, they really introduce us to a brand new concept that I think is really cool. the concept of not just a matzah shmura that you can find, that is a circular matzah that is very hard, right? So first of all, everybody understands the matzah shmura is used mostly for the ceremony of the seder. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, the matzah shmura, the word matzah everybody knows. Shmura means kept, meaning that we keep the matzot, the chitim, the wheat, to not get any moist, any water in it, so it won't become leavening, become chametz. So from the time of harvest, grinding the flour, the grains, into a flour, and then it comes all the way, goes all the way to the factory, so they can do these special matzot. They call matzah shmura. There's two different kind of matzah shmura, kept matzah. Matzah shmura that everybody knows, circle, it look like a round, and it's like a cardboard.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They taste the same. We know, we are Yemenite, we have a custom of eating soft matzah.
Let me ask you, like from your
Iraqi people.
Yeah, yes.
Everybody ate soft matzah.
So I want to understand, going back even 100 years, 150, soft matzah. Really?
Yes. Why they do this hard matzah, the thing, and what we call it the cardboard, as a joke, because there's a problem with this soft matzah. You have to do it fresh every day. Back then they didn't have freezers, so they have to do fresh every day. So after the Chag, Chol HaMoed, they have to do soft matzah again. Some didn't do it right and become leavening. So the rabbis in Europe said, you know what, enough. Everybody have to make matzah before the holiday and keep it after the Chag. No more making matzot. So nobody will do the problem with chametz.
Okay.
So they have this hard cracker matzah.
Yeah.
Now, the soft matzah, we keep it in, it looks like tortilla, it's a little bit thicker. It's a kosher matzah shmura. And you keep it in the freezer. You take it out of the freezer 2-3 hours before the Seder, and you put it back. So today it's very easy, and it's tasty. You can
what is it? What is it? I remember even being a kid, and we had some matzah shmura, I believe, my grandfather, I remember.
Everybody have soft matzah.
Yeah,
You're from Iraq?
Iraq, I remember.
They have soft matzah for sure.
What is, in terms of halachically speaking, preparation of those matzah shmura, is there anything special you have to make in prepping the matzot shmurot like this?
Actually, the preparation is the same. We just putting in a little bit more water, and the cardboard matzah, the hard matzah, the cracker matzah, just flattening it, and they're leaving it in the oven for a longer time, so it get dry.
Okay.
That's the difference. So the soft matzah, Ashkenazim has no.
Ashkenazim do something.
Most of them know. The custom is to eat the cracker matzah, as the Rama said in the Shulchan Aruch. There's a comment that they used to do the cracker matzah everything. I have Ashkenazi customers that like the soft matzah. Some we add salt, some people we don't add salt. What you get from me is without salt.
But it's also interesting because when you do the korech, Sfaradim do the korech very different than the Ashkenazi.
This you can do korech.
You really can do a korech like this. With the cardboard matzah, you really cannot.
It breaks.
Yeah, you can. You see the korech, you almost like scoop it in.
Korech means you fold. When you fold it around the wall. Now you can do it right. Yeah, it's like a laffa.
So it's like a laffa and so forth. And Rabbi, just one more question about those matzot. So you recommend for the matzah, like let's say you're eating, you take one at a time, let it come.
Okay, so the minimum amount to eat, we have, during Passover, we lean on the left side 7 times.
Yes.
3 times for the matzot and 7 times with the 4 cups.
Yes.
So the first
3 and 4, you mean 3 and 4.
3 for the matzot and 4 with the wine. So the 3 for the matzot is the one when we do hamotzi matzah. The second one is the korech, we eat on the left side, and the third one is the afikoman at the very end. Yes. And the 4 cups, whenever it's on the order of the matzah, or the haggadah. The minimum amount to eat to fulfill the mitzvah is 30 grams, which in here is around 1/3, maybe half.
So when they say in the tongue of the Talmud zayt, they don't mean
kazayt.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like it's
not the size, but the weight, the nefach, the value.
So that's how much it is roughly.
So in order to remember it clearly, easily, it's around 26 to 30 grams.
Okay.
It will be the measurement of a half an egg. Okay. So in this tortilla, it will be 1/3, almost let's see, almost a half of it. Okay. So you need like 3 halves. Okay. It will be enough for you for the first Seder night. And the second Seder night, another 3 halves. Oved, you fulfill the mitzvah. You don't have to eat more than that. It's the minimum required.
And those you can use, obviously, since it's the Shmua, you can use them also for ceremony. You can use those as the part of the 3 matzot for this.
This is for it.
Yes, this is
for it. Exactly.
Yeah, so just understand, explaining to everybody, this can use ceremonically to fulfill
This is an expensive matzah.
Yeah, very.
You don't use it. You want to use it for the ceremony, for the Passover Seder, for sure, for the first night and the second night. If you have some leftover, you want to keep it for the other days and for Shabbat that comes in the middle. Of course, you can do it.
So Rabbi, everybody's freaking out. It's Friday night, Saturday. How in the Rabbi house? How do you guys?
We're doing it the Yemenite style.
Give us a little bit of pilpul of the Yemenite
The
style.
Yemenite style, we are putting a lot of decoration around the table, a lot of vegetables and lettuce and cilantro and parsley, and we dress up like the Jewish left Egypt, and we make a play, and someone knocking on the door, and I came from Egypt. It's a whole thing. Every year is the same, and almost every year is the same actors also.
The same actor, but they win Oscars, yes?
They win Oscar every year.
Do you are familiar of this tradition to make from the matzah like the letters David? Are you familiar with that also?
The dalet, the middle matzah, you make a dalet, yes.
You make the dalet?
Yes.
Is that for, in a way, for like Mashiach, son of David? Is that what it's about?
Not necessarily, but we're trying to make a holy name in it. You don't have, if it doesn't the shape of dalet, because it's not so easy to take a matzah and cut it or break it into the shape of the letter dalet.
It's not so easy. You make something.
Dalet and vav. So,
anything, just as a conclusion, anything for this year you sense is different, especially where time of Geulah, Nisan, Nes, Nisnionot. Anything you sense differently about right now the season?
Well, we see.
Hanukkah, and Pesach. For the Pesach that is coming, anything in your heart you feel different?
Well, Passover is the time of redemption. It's a Chag of Geulah. As it says, Benisan Nig'alu, Benisan Atidin Ligael.
That's in Tractate Rosh Hashanah, it says this.
We were redeemed in Passover in Nisan, and we will be redeemed in Nisan.
But there is also, it says that we might be redeemed in Rosh Hashanah. There is a machloket on that in Tractate Rosh Hashanah, whether we will be redeemed in Nisan or will be redeemed in Rosh Hashanah.
Yes, most opinion hold is going to be in Nisan because the energy that came down to
Do you believe it's going to be in Nisan?
Nisan, yes. Most opinion is Nisan because we see things that happen, event in the past 1,000 years ago, happening again. Times of Mazal, good Mazal is Purim. Redemption. This is a time we should focus with blessing to Hashem, and everybody will have his own private redemption. This is how we should look at it.
You know, this is very important because we all have to look at this as a personal Geulah. By the way, I disagree. I believe it will be in Rosh Hashanah. You know why? Because the Rosh Hashanah is when we blow shofar. We need to be ready. Nisan Geulah happen independently of us. I believe we have something to do with the Geulah.
Let me tell you something. Between Rosh Hashanah and Nisan, let it come already.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Let it come, whatever it wants.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Rabbi, very good. By the way, excellent. Look what I got here. Kosher kebabim, show them.
Wow.
Lamb, the most amazing stuff you can imagine from the holy hands of the Rabbi and the Rebbetzin. So I just want to share with you, by the way, listen to me carefully. Look. We are arranging for those who are living on the west side who want kosher meat. Contact me. We will pass you this at cost of what we're getting it. We will, because we are going to start to get the meat directly from Rabbi Shimon directly, and we will be able to distribute it because I know it's quite far from you to get it. So if you're interested and you live in Fort Worth, just reach out to me and I will be happy to distribute it.
I can tell you one more thing before you finish.
Yes.
The red meat, everything we do slaughtering here, kosher of course, and it's all fresh and great quality. And the chicken comes from New York. It's all well preserved, and this is, you try it, and I think you'll bless us, Bezrat Hashem.
Friend, we push upon you all. Personal Geulah and corporate Geulah come upon us and all of Israel. Chag Pesach Sameach. להתראות everyone.
Happy Passover.
Amen, amen, ve'amen. Chag Sameach, Rav Shimon. I'm sure he's watching now. I sent him the link to watch. I wish you Chag Sameach, Rav Shimon.
Amen. Chag Sameach, rabino Ronen Shannon. Sharon, seguro, Shimon, seguro está viendo en este momento, así que bendiciones. Y
And from one rabbi, I'm going to another rabbi. I want to wish Rabbi Bernstein also Chag Pesach Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Le quiero dar la bienvenida al rabino Bernstein. Chag Sameach.
So I know there are a lot of questions, but I want to take a moment and talk about matzah and matzah shmua.
Sé que hay muchas preguntas, pero quiero tomar un momento para hablar sobre
The matzah shmua mean those are the ceremonial matzah, and Rabbi Bernstein will talk about those in a second, okay?
Es el matzah shmura y eso es el matzah que es para ceremonias.
Don't confuse the matzah shmua with the matzah you nash on the table after during Shulchan Aruch. This is a little different, okay?
No confunden ese matzah con el matzah que nomás usan en la mesa después y usan por cualquier cosa.
You can, but it's very expensive.
Dice el rabino Bernstein que lo puedes hacer, pero muy costoso.
Rabbi Bernstein, how much? Look, I'm holding in my hand right now because I didn't want to insult you, Rabbi Bernstein, with all this Sephardic stuff.
Le pregunta al rabino Bernstein que tiene en su mano ahorita, no quería ofenderlo con estas cosas sefardí.
So I also carried in shame the standard matzah shmua.
Y aquí tiene el matzah shmura.
Now look at Rabbi Bernstein. He has the deluxe edition of matzah shmura.
Es la edición deluxe elevada.
Friends, don't go and buy those. Those are expensive.
No compren esos son costosos, son valiosos.
And inside, there are 3 matzot here. There are 3 matzot here inside.
Yeah, I have a full pound.
Oh, you have? Okay.
And because you can't get it where I am, I bought it on Amazon. It was shipped, so that's why it's in the bubble wrap.
Okay.
Él lo agarró por medio de Amazon, no lo puede agarrar local ahí donde está, en Florida. Así que se lo fue enviado por correo.
Now I have a big news for everybody. Are you ready?
Tengo grandes noticias para todos. ¿Están listos?
What Rabbi Shimon gave me today,
Lo que el rabino Shimon me dio hoy
it's the soft matzah shmua.
es la matzah suave shmura.
Very similar to a tortilla. Very similar.
Muy similar a una tortilla, muy similar.
Or lafa.
But yeah, very similar to what we call lafa.
O muy similar a lo que le llamamos también lafa.
The trick is to freeze them and take them out. Otherwise, they go bad. Okay?
El truco es congelarlos y luego
They will
sacarlos.
leaven if they sit out. That's the nature of leaven.
Exactly. Now, here is
la naturaleza del ambiente que los afecta.
here is the good news.
Aquí está la
Last year,
El año pasado,
the Rebbetzin made the best
la Rebbetzin hizo lo mejor.
matzah shmura soft because I told her my stomach cannot handle it.
El matzah shmura suave. Él le dijo, mi estómago ya no aguanta.
Usually I eat for 2 days, my stomach start to having problem. I am not joking. A lot of you might be in the same boat.
Yo empiezo a comer matzah por 2 días y luego empiezo a tener problemas y no estoy bromeando. Algunos de ustedes quizás tienen la misma
Usually that means not enough maror.
quizás no suficiente marrón.
So listen, we are going to put the recipe. The recipe is going to be on the website for those who want to attempt to make the soft matzah shmura.
Vamos a poner la receta en el enlace aquí por internet y el sitio de internet para los que quieran hacer esta suave.
I want to warn you.
Quiero advertirles.
You have to follow the instruction to the T if you want to make it.
Tienes que seguir las instrucciones a la letra. Si quieres que salga bien.
So it's going to be
the time that's listed in the recipe
exactly the
is
times.
very, very important. If you get the time,
Yes.
it will not be kosher lePesach.
Los
Exactly.
tiempos que se requieren son necesarios para que salga bien y para que sea kosher para Pesach.
And everybody needs to understand, not all matzahs are kosher for Pesach.
Tienen que entender que no todos los matzahs son kosher para Pesach.
And a minute, Rabbi Bernstein talk to you a little bit how to look at the ingredients so you know, and the symbols to tell you how to make sure that it's kosher lePesach, okay?
En un momento, el rabino Bernstein les va a explicar los símbolos que debe buscar y cómo asegurar que algo es kosher para Pesaj.
But I see right now on the broadcast, people from Ecuador, people from Chile. It's not very likely that you will be able to get anything kosher to Pesach.
Miro el enlace que hay gente de Ecuador, de lugares en Sudamérica, que no es muy probable que pueda agarrar algo que es kosher para Pesaj.
So we're going to put the recipe. Now, here is where you're going to get it, okay?
Así que vamos a poner la receta y aquí es donde lo puede ir, ¿ok?
I want to remind everybody of three very important things.
Quiero recordarle a todos de tres cosas muy importantes.
Number one, the Haggadah that we recommend for you to use
Número uno, el Haggadah que nosotros recomendamos que ustedes usen
is from Nisan to Nisan.
es de Nisan a Nisan.
And this Haggadah is available in 7 languages.
Y este Haggadah es disponible en 7 lenguajes.
It's already reached over 50,000 people.
Ya se lo han bajado 50,000 personas.
And this is the link that you need.
Y este es el enlace que necesitan.
Pesach.shuvu.tv.
Pesaj.shuvu.tv.
And when you go there, just select your language, scroll to the bottom and
Bueno,
select your language.
Vea hacia abajo de la página y seleccione su lenguaje.
On the top, you see a section that's called recipes. There are tons of recipes already there.
En la parte de arriba va a encontrar una sección llamada recetas. Hay muchas recetas ahí.
We are going to add a recipe for matzah shmura there as well.
Vamos a añadirle la receta para el
Soft.
shmura,
Soft matzah, okay?
matzah suave, ¿ok?
So that is coming your way. Number 2,
Para ustedes.
I want to remind everybody that this is available for free download, but
Quiero recordarles a todos que esto es disponible para bajarlo gratis, pero,
for example, today something wonderful happened.
por ejemplo, hoy algo maravilloso ocurrió.
I went to the rabbi home. Let me tell you a story what happened today.
Fui a la casa del rabino y déjale explicarles una historia que pasó.
And he told me what happened and what he do with Israelis who are in need right now. He explained to me what his foundation does.
Él me explicó lo que está haciendo su fundación con la gente en Israel que está en necesidad en este momento.
We were able, as a messianic community,
Fuimos capaces como una comunidad mesiánica
to give a significant donation to help this foundation.
dar un donativo significante para ayudarle a esta fundación.
And it touched his heart.
Y le tocó su corazón.
This is the essence of our message, is a reconciliation with our Orthodox brothers.
Esta es la esencia de nuestra organización, tener una reconciliación con nuestros hermanos ortodoxos.
All of the funding for Pesach going to go to this fund.
Todos los fondos para Pesaj van a ir hacia este fondo, Operación Kilo.
Please go, even if you put $5, $15, $100, whatever it is, it's a blessing because all the funding for the Pesach go to impact Jewish lives.
Por favor, vean ahí y si solamente pueden dar 5, 15, 10 dólares, lo que sea, eso va a ir, todo va a ir hacia esta Operación Kilo para salvar vidas.
So I want to say thank you in advance for your support.
Quiero darles las gracias en avance, adelante.
Last announcement before we go to the questions.
Último anuncio antes de las preguntas.
This is a very special year. We released a second publication
Este es un año muy especial. Soltamos una segunda publicación
to bring this tradition of Pesach to your Pesach table.
para traer la tradición de Pesaj hacia su mesa de Pesaj.
It's called the Hidden Mashiach in Haggadat Pesach.
Se llama el Mashiach escondido en el Haggadah de Pesaj.
This is for those of you who lead Seder or want to get a little bit deeper. I highly recommend this with so many wonderful traditions.
Esto es para los líderes de Seder que quieren profundizarse un poco y recomiendo esto altamente.
And the link is also on the chat, and we hope you will get it.
El enlace también está en el chat, en las comunicaciones ahí abajo. Por favor,
So I want to say in advance, thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your support.
de adelantado les doy gracias por su generosidad y su apoyo.
And now in a second, we're going to start to take your questions.
Y en unos momentos vamos a empezar a tomar sus preguntas.
Rabbi Bernstein, can we take a moment and talk about how to identify items that are kosher lePesach? And if even we don't have the symbol of kosher lePesach, what are the must avoid?
Rabino, si podemos, ¿qué cosas podemos buscar para saber lo que es kosher para Pesach y qué cosas debemos evitar para esto?
Well, first thing you look for in anything to identify whether it's kosher or not is called the hechsher.
La
The
primera
hechsher
cosa
is simply a symbol that specifically identifies that there are rabbis that have watched the process of this particular food item being made and have inspected the
Hold on,
premises.
let him translate, Rabbi Bernstein.
Lo primero que tiene que buscar es un símbolo, okay? Es un símbolo que va, y eso lo que representa es que hubieron rabinos que estuvieron al tanto del proceso de cómo se hizo ese producto para certificar que fue hecho de una manera kosher.
And so the symbol tells us that the rabbis have inspected, they're overseeing, and that the food is indeed kosher.
Y este símbolo representa que ha sido inspeccionado y que los rabinos lo certifican como kosher en los ingredientes y el proceso.
Next to this symbol, there is another identifier.
Cerca de este símbolo hay otro identificador.
You will frequently see a D,
Seguidamente vas a ver una D,
which indicates that this food is dairy. It has dairy in it.
indica que eso tiene lácteos.
Or you'll see an M, that it has meat in it.
O vas a ver un M, que quiere decir que tiene carne.
Or in traditionally Ashkenazi areas, you'll see a CH,
Tradicionalmente en las áreas Ashkenaz vas a ver un CH,
which stands for chalavi, which is dairy.
quiere decir halavi, que representa lácteos, de nuevo.
Or an FL for fleischig, it means meat.
O FL, que quiere decir flecha, que representa carne.
Or you'll also see the word parva.
Y también vas a ver la palabra parve.
This means it is neither milk nor meat.
Y eso quiere decir que no es carne ni leche.
So let's see if we can see these things
A ver si pueden ver
in the camera.
en
There
la
we
cámara.
go.
Ahí está.
In the middle, we see the U with the circle around it.
Miramos el U con un círculo alrededor.
That means that rabbis from the Orthodox Union have inspected this product.
Eso quiere decir que rabinos de la Unión Ortodoxo han inspeccionado este producto.
It says parva, which means that it is neither milk nor meat.
Y tiene una P para parve, que quiere decir que no es ni carne ni lácteos.
And then we see the letter P.
Y luego vemos la letra P.
That means it's kosher for Passover.
Eso quiere decir que es kosher para Pesach.
Okay? So these macaroons are kosher for Passover.
Esos
I have
macaroons,
also-
galletas son kosher para Pesach.
Also, we
También.
have,
There we go.
on the matzah.
También en el matzah.
So we have again, the Orthodox Union rabbis have
Tenemos otra
inspected
vez.
this,
La Unión de Rabinos Ortodoxos lo inspeccionaron.
and the P tells us it's kosher for Passover.
Y la P nos dice que es kosher para Pesach. Pesach.
So that's what you look for already prepared foods.
Y eso es lo que buscas para comidas que ya están preparadas.
For non-prepared foods, it's even easier.
Para comidas que no están preparadas es aún más fácil.
Talmud explains to us that there are 5 grains
El Talmud nos explica que hay 5 granos
that we are not allowed to eat, period.
que no se nos permite comer. Punto.
Because in the humidity of the air, they spontaneously leaven.
porque con la humedad que está en el área, se elevan, ¿verdad? Tienen levadura que nomás espontáneamente ocurre.
They make their own chametz.
Hacen su propio chametz.
So the most common of these are wheat
Las cosas más comunes de estos son trigo
and barley.
y barley. Es otro
Those are
grano
the
que
two
usan para hacer.
most common.
Son los más comunes.
Okay, so
That-
basically we don't buy anything with wheat or barley in it.
Básicamente no compramos algo con trigo o barley.
Excellent, Rabbi Bernstein, excellent. We want to start to go and take some of these wonderful questions that you all raised up.
Ahora vamos a tomar algunas de las preguntas que ustedes están haciendo.
And again, just type them in and so forth, and we will get to them as soon as we can, okay?
Y de nuevo escríbenlos en la conversación ahí abajo y nos dirigimos hacia ellas tan pronto posible.
Let me go. Wow, there's a lot of questions. Here we go. Let's go to South Africa.
Vamos a Sur África.
Can we prepare food the first and 7th day of the Chag? Well, the other days. You want to start with that one, Rabbi Bernstein?
This is a good question. And
Yes.
the answer is sort of.
Podemos
Yeah.
cocinar o preparar comida en el primero o séptimo día del Chag, tan igual que los otros días, y la respuesta es sí y no.
But maybe, Rabbi Bernstein, before you answer, that's a good teachable moment.
Es un buen momento para enseñar.
You can introduce this concept of the Iruv Tavshilin. What is that?
Puedes dar este concepto nuevo.
Again, it's called Iruv Tavshilin.
It's in the you normally in the front of your Haggadah.
Normalmente enfrente de tu Haggadah.
Okay. As you know, for
Okay.
Moadim, you're not allowed to work.
Para los Moedim no se les permite trabajar los días festivos santos.
And so this is why the question is asked, because doing all of the cooking and the preparation is work.
Porque todo eso de preparar y cocinar es trabajo.
But you're allowed to complete the work. You're not allowed to start it.
Pero realmente se te permite completar la obra, el trabajo, pero no empezarlo.
So what the Eruv Tavshilin does is it is a ceremony and a process. So for this year, on Friday afternoon, before sunset, you will begin the preparation of the foods for the whole weekend, including both days of Pesach.
Lo que este concepto permite es el viernes, antes de que empiece el Hag, antes de que baje el sol, entonces empiezas a preparar, empiezas el proceso para preparar las comidas de todo lo que necesitas hacer y se pueden terminar durante la fiesta.
So if you do the Eruv Tavshilin on Saturday afternoon, you can finish preparing for the second Seder.
Si haces este concepto en la tarde del sábado, entonces puedes terminarlo para el segundo.
But let me add for that just a little bit of my thoughts.
Quiero añadir sus pensamientos, rabino Shapira.
Look, if you're a woman and you're and I'm not trying to say only women cooking, but I'm just giving an example. Let's say you're a woman and you're preparing, cooking.
Digamos que eres una mujer y estás preparando comida.
It's absolutely prohibited to take all of your Shabbat to prepare for the second night.
Está absolutamente prohibido tomar todo tu Shabbat preparando para la segunda noche.
That's not what is Iruv Tavshilin, okay? Your food is prepared before Shabbat, friends.
Tu comida se prepara antes de Shabbat, amigos.
Okay, so for us, I tell the Rebbetzin, this is what I tell the Rebbetzin.
Yo le digo a las Rebbetzines,
all major cooking is done before Shabbat.
Lo principal de la cocinar se hace antes.
You're not going to be spending 4 hours in the kitchen.
No vas a tomar 4 horas en la cocina preparando.
It's
basically what Rav Shapira is saying is that if it can be done before Shabbat, it must be done before Shabbat.
Yes.
Simplemente lo que está diciendo rabino Shapira es que si se puede hacer antes del Shabbat, se debería hacer antes del Shabbat.
So the upshot, I think the upshot for the ladies especially, is to really prepare themselves or do the best they can to prepare themselves before Shabbat. It's a tricky business this year.
La ventaja para las señoras es que hay que prepararse antes del Shabbat para no cansarse. en el Shabbat.
Because also think of, go ahead, Rabbi Bernstein, you wanted to add
I was
something?
just going to, as an example, there's no reason you can't make your charoset 2-3 days ahead of time.
Exactly.
No reason at all.
No hay ninguna razón que no puedes preparar el jaroset 2 o 3 días.
Let me give another example. Let's say you're making brisket, okay?
Digamos que hacer brisket.
There is no reason you cannot make a brisket or in my house we do kebabs and pargiot and we do a lot of food, okay? It's going to be crazy.
Digamos que van a hacer brisket o kebabs o diferentes carnes, ¿verdad?
There's no reason this is not prepared before Shabbat and heated up during the second day. No reason for it.
Se puede preparar antemano y luego calentarlo para el segundo día.
Okay, so try to minimize the impact of avodah. You don't want to violate Shabbat. It's still Shabbat. It's a double Shabbat.
Tratan de minimizar, hacer menos el impacto del trabajo que se tiene que hacer para este Shabbat, porque es un doble Shabbat.
Another question that I saw here on the thread, what do I do about lighting the candle of Yom Tov? How do I go? What do I do with that?
Otra pregunta es, ¿qué hago con la vela de Yom Tov?
Here is my... Go ahead. I was about to give the answer, but go ahead.
Well, for Friday night,
Para
it's
viernes
very
en
simple. You light the candles,
tiene la
light
vela,
the bracha,
y haces la bendición, la braja.
Shabbat v'Yom Tov.
Exactly.
Shabbat Yom Tov.
Together,
right?
Juntos.
Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat v'Yom Tov.
La bendición para Shabbat y Yom Tov.
Okay, so for the second night,
Para la segunda noche,
okay, so you're ending Shabbat and Moed, and you're beginning another Moed.
al fin del primer día, ¿verdad? Estás terminando Shabbat y el Moed y empezando otro Moed.
You don't kindle fire. You don't like candles.
exactly.
No
Exactly.
Right? So you don't like candles.
Entonces
You
no
don't light
enciendes,
a Havdalah candle, and you
Sí,
don't light
entiendo.
candles for the Moed.
no enciendes la vela de
Well,
Havdalah, porque no se puede encender. Y no
we do
enciendes
Okay, I'll give you an alternative.
Te voy a dar una alternativa.
That's a good alternative, but we have an alternative. I think it's more productive.
Otra alternativa que quizás sea más productivo.
We light a candle that burns 26 hours.
Encendemos una vela que arde por 26 horas.
So in essence, it's lit before the Shabbat.
En otras palabras, se enciende antes del Shabbat.
They call them ner neshama, like a ner neshama, for example.
Se llama una llama que se pasa.
And then it's allowed to transfer the fire
Entonces se permite transferir la llama
without breaking now the new chag that you are entering into.
Right. Transferring of fire by halacha is allowed. Kindling fire is not.
Exactly.
Transferring fire is.
y el rabino Bernstein dice que transfiriendo llama y fuego está bien si se permite por halajá, pero encendiendo algo de nuevo no se permite.
My best advice, especially to the ladies,
El mejor consejo para las señoras
is not to wait till the last moment. It's overwhelming. It's already overwhelming.
hasta el último momento, ya es demasiado.
Honestly, at least 75% of the things can be done in advance.
Probablemente 75% de las cosas se pueden hacer antemano.
Okay? Don't wait to the last moment cleaning. Don't wait for any of the. Get it done now. Get it done in advance.
Con la limpieza, háganlo adelantado. Antemano.
Okay, and I want to talk about another topic, and it's weird. I had it here. I wanted to make you proud, Rabbi Bernstein.
Lo tenía que quería hacerte orgulloso, Rabino Bernstein.
It's somewhere here, but I got the Ashkenazic, not the Sephardic, because they didn't have it. There are two versions of feathers. Did you know?
Dos versiones de ceder.
No.
No, a feather
una pluma
and a spoon
y una cuchara,
and a candle are very important aspect of your Pesach experience. Here we
muy
go.
importantes de tu experiencia de Pesaj.
He's showing off. He's showing off. Here we go.
Nos va a mostrar.
So, Rabbi Bernstein, this is really important that people understand. This is really the preparation and the brachot that is going to have to be taking place. Do you want to take a moment and explain this ceremony that takes place the night actually before, on Thursday night actually already?
Yep. This is Thursday night.
Jueves en la noche.
We need to make certain
Tenemos que asegurar
that all of the chametz are removed from the house.
que todo el hametz se saca de la casa.
And so we ceremonially
Así
search
que
for the chametz. It's called the bidikat chametz or the biur chametz.
buscamos de una manera ceremonialmente todo el hametz en la casa.
And we light the candle to
Yes.
see by, and we have the little spoon.
Rabbi Bernstein, I want to interrupt for 1 second. Something really important.
Okay.
Algo muy importante.
This have to happen 20 minutes after sundown. You do it after sundown on Thursday night.
Eso
Right.
tiene que ocurrir 20 minutos después de que baja el sol el jueves en la noche.
Continue.
Okay. You need these. You need a feather, like Rav Shapira was saying, and you need a piece of paper or an envelope.
Como de un ave, una pluma. Y necesitas un papel o un sobre.
And so you go around the house
Así
and
que
you find
vas por la casa y buscas.
chametz that you've already placed there. You've placed some
Encuentras
crumbs.
hametz que tú ya pusiste y que sabes dónde está. Porque ya limpiaste todo.
And you use the feather and you sweep the chametz into the spoon.
Y usas esa pluma y lo barres a esta cuchara.
From each place that you find them,
De cada lugar que tú los encuentras.
and then you put them in the paper
Y luego los pones en el papel.
and you seal up the paper
Y sellas el papel
and you take it outside and put it on the grill.
y lo sacas afuera y lo quemas.
And then you stop. You don't do anything else.
Y luego ya termina.
When you wake up in the morning after sunrise,
Cuando te levantas en la mañana, después de que levanta el sol,
you say a bracha
dices una
and you
bendición
light this on fire.
y luego entiendes esto.
And it burns and you recite in Aramaic.
Y dices, hold on, Rabbi. So you said the night before you just put it on top of the pit, don't burn it.
Right.
Okay, para aclarar, en la noche ya cuando encuentra el hametz, lo ponen sobre lo sella, no lo quema en ese momento, lo ponen en un lugar para quemarlo, preparándolo. Y luego en la mañana, cuando se levanta el sol, y luego va y hace una braja, una bendición
Okay. In Aramaic.
en arameo.
And you say, this is all of the chametz in the house.
Dices, este es todo el hametz en la casa.
And any chametz that I have not found
Y cualquier hametz que no he encontrado
is like the dust of the earth.
es como el polvo de la tierra.
And you light it on fire and it's gone.
Y lo enciendes y ya desapareció.
And here's the cool thing, guys. This year, we're going to do both Thursday night and Friday morning
Jueves en la noche y viernes en la mañana.
live streamed.
Vamos a tener un stream de video en vivo.
Morel Hamel is going to be here as my assistant.
We're going to light him on fire. No.
Yeah. So you will have a chance, if you want, we will broadcast it live and teach you how to do it properly, the brachot.
Van a tener la oportunidad de ver eso en vivo. Y vamos a dar este enlace y lo pueden ver cómo se debe hacer esto.
But this is very important part before you even start your seder. The biur, it's called the bdikat chametz and biur chametz. Both part you have to do.
Hametz y
Bdikat chametz and biur chametz, yes.
hametz. Y eso es una parte muy importante de este proceso.
Very good, excellent. Here's a great question that is coming to us. Here you go. I love that question. Do we need to throw away all the fryers, all the flour and the dried noodles we have?
La pregunta es, ¿tenemos que tirar todos los noodles que tenemos de harina o secos que tenemos en la casa?
Do you sell your flour to the Gentiles, Rabbi Bernstein?
Rabino Bernstein, ¿usted vende su harina?
I am going to tell you what we do. I tell you what we do, and then let's hear what Rabbi Bernstein does.
Vamos a ver lo que hace Rabino Bernstein.
We have a partnership for many years with the local shelter.
Con aquí el lugar local que le da auxilio a personas sin hogar.
So for me, I feel that it's a good thing to feed the hungry and the poor.
Para mí, yo siento que es una cosa buena e importante darle comer a los pobres y necesitados.
So I donated all things that are unopened to the shelter.
Todas las cosas que yo tengo que están sin abrir, las dono a este lugar de auxilio local.
And the rest of the chametz,
Y el resto del hametz
I toss out completely,
lo tiro completamente,
almost in violence.
casi violentamente.
Rabbi Bernstein?
Yeah, we eat what we can the week before. This is a carb fest.
Nosotros nos comimos todo lo que podemos la semana antes. Es una fiesta de carbohidratos.
But right before, we actually give the chametz we have away, and magically, we have friends that give them back after the Chag.
Pero inmediatamente antes lo regalamos a amigos, lo que queda, y como cosa de magia nos regresan cosas después de la fiesta.
They don't have to.
No tienen que.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good. Here is a great question. I really appreciate this question so much because I know many of you are dealing with this issue.
Yo sé que muchos están tratando con este tema.
What do you do in an opportunity where you are in a house where people do not observe Pesach, but you have to cohabit with them? What do you do?
¿Qué haces para deshacerte del Pesaj cuando compartes la casa con otras personas que no observan Pesaj?
It's actually not that complicated.
And it's not the first time in history.
Right? I am going to give you a practical answer because I was today in the kosher grocery market.
Hoy estaba en el mercado kosher.
And the kosher grocery market is literally a store 20 by 20.
Y el mercado kosher es literalmente una tienda 20 pies por 20
It's a
pies.
bodega.
And I asked him the question, what you going to do? What, are you not removing the chametz?
Que le pregunté, ¿qué vas a hacer? ¿Que no te vas a deshacer del hametz?
What he said that they do because the spacing issue.
Él dice que lo que hacen por la tema del espacio
Is complete separation.
Separan completamente.
It's not complicated. So somebody want to eat bread?
¿Alguien quiere comer pan?
You said to them, okay, the bedroom is yours,
Y le dice, está bien, la recámara es tuya,
but the balcony is mine.
pero el balcón es mío.
And you make this balcony as your sanctuary.
Este balcón como tu santuario.
And that's become kadosh to Hashem because it's a spare area that is set apart.
Eso es kadosh para Hashem porque es una área separada.
Not worth getting into argument over.
Eso no merece meterse en problemas o argumentos.
Rabbi Bernstein, you want to add to that one?
Yeah. Another fun thing you can do
Otra cosa divertida que puedes hacer,
is I'm assuming your bedroom is your own.
supongo que tu recámara es tuyo.
So do bedikat chametz in your bedroom.
Entonces hagan eso en su recámara.
And then you can do the entire biur chametz ceremony, and it's done from your bedroom.
Entonces puedes hacer toda la ceremonia desde tu recámara.
Now, I want to say one more thing about the bedikat chametz and biur chametz.
Sí quiero decir algo más sobre esto.
If you have young children,
Si tienes niños pequeños,
one of the most fun memories I have of being young
una de las memorias más gustosas que yo tengo de niño
is the scramble through the house of the children looking for chametz.
Es como niños buscando por toda la casa, buscando el hametz.
And we would excitedly point and say, Papa, Papa, we found chametz.
Y estamos bien emocionados contando, papá, encontramos el hametz.
And then, of course, the family would come and they'd sweep up chametz. And my
supuesto,
brother would say, Papa, we found more chametz. And we'd go sweep up the chametz.
La
That way. I'm
y
convinced this is where the Easter egg hunt came from.
Yo estoy convencido de aquí vino esta búsqueda de huevos para Pascua.
Very good. We have a lot of more great questions. I want to take this one. This is from Antonio.
Esta pregunta es de Antonio.
He asked the question, is soda beverage is also against the Pesach?
Él pregunta si tomando soda, una bebida de soda es contra la ley.
Listen to me. Anything that is have a fermentation process, more than likely a certain fermentation process, is have the potential of being a chametz.
Cualquier cosa que tiene un proceso
Like
de
beer. Beer is
tiene
out.
la capacidad para ser.
Yeah, like a beer, anything that rises. Yeah, beer is chametz.
Que se levanta
But
eso.
Coca-Cola?
Pero Coca-Cola,
Coca-Cola is okay for Sfardim, not for Ashkenazim.
Exactly.
because of corn syrup. in it.
está bien para Sefardí, pero no para Ashkenaz.
Exactly.
Now, Coca-Cola makes a special Coca-Cola blend for Pesach. It has a yellow cap, and they don't put corn syrup in it.
Coca-Cola hace una versión de su bebida que es especial para Pesaj y tiene una tapa amarilla, okay, una Coca-Cola con tapa amarilla y no le ponen el líquido que viene de maíz.
Yeah, you know, I'm very careful on the drinks. Drinks, you have to be careful on.
Mucho cuidado con las bebidas, hay que tener mucho cuidado con estos.
Like you see, today I bought this peach. This is a peach thing.
Esto es de durazno.
So I wanted to look for it to say kasher le Pesach parv, okay?
Buscar a ver si tenía kosher Pesaj par.
But let me give you something more serious.
Pero deja darle algo más serio.
What about this beauty? Wine.
De esa. Vino.
On wine, just because it's kasher, it doesn't make it kasher le Pesach.
En vino, nomás porque dice kosher, no quiere decir que es kosher para Pesaj.
I would say because we do require to drink 4 cups of wine. If there's one thing you cannot compromise on, is kasher le Pesach wine. That is a must.
Una cosa que es un deber es tomar las 4 copas de vino. Entonces
The
hay que
same thing,
cuidar que es kosher para
the same thing here. You see the K and the P, as Rabbi Bernstein suggested.
y la P, como estaba explicando el rabino Bernstein.
Yes, yeah. So
Most
that,
wine is not kosher
La mayoría del vino no es kosher,
because they use grapes that are orla.
porque usan uvas que son orla.
That is, it's forbidden. They use grapes from grape vines that are less than 3 years old.
Porque usan uvas de viñas que vienen de viñedos que son menos de 3 años de edad.
And this is forbidden. This is orla. We can't use
Esto
that.
se prohíbe, es orla.
I want to take this question. I found this to be rather serious from Elizabeth.
Esa pregunta es una pregunta seria.
Elizabeth is asking, Rabbi, I just converted to Judaism.
Rabino, acabo de convertirme al judaísmo.
I don't think I can get all the cleaning and getting rid of everything Torah says.
No creo que puedo hacer toda la limpieza y deshacerme de todo lo que dice la Torah.
What do I do to comply?
¿Qué hago para estar de acuerdo?
It
Well-
depends on what it is you're having trouble with.
Depende en lo que estás teniendo problemas.
Step 1, do what you can do. Do what you know you can do.
Haz lo que puedes hacer, lo que sabes que puedes hacer.
Then when you have specific things that you're having difficulty with, you come to us. Rabbis will help you out with it.
Y luego cuando tienes cosas específicas que estás batallando, vienes a los rabinos y les haces la pregunta.
Look, I like what Rabbi Bernstein says. You do what you can do,
Me gusta lo que dijo el rabino Bernstein. Haces lo que puedes hacer,
but give the very best effort that you can into this Pesach, into this preparation.
pero dé el mejor esfuerzo que puedes para este Pesaj, esta preparación.
We have a lot more questions. Please continue to submit these questions. We will get to as many of them as we can. Let me I want to talk about meat. Let's talk about meat for a second in general.
Vamos a hablar sobre carne un poquito, en general.
Question was asking about a brisket be boiled for Passover.
Alguien hizo una pregunta sobre brisket siendo hervido para Pesaj.
There is no problem with brisket.
No hay problema con brisket.
And there's no problem with boiling it, but why would you want to?
Yeah, why would you want boiled brisket?
Pero ¿por qué quisieras hacer eso?
Actually, today, when I was in the kosher market,
En la actualidad, hoy cuando estaba en el mercado kosher,
the mashgiach was there. Lo and behold.
estaba allí.
So we start to talk about what people may eating.
Entonces empezamos a hablar sobre lo que gente podía comer.
So the conversation around eating lamb came forward, actually.
La conversación sobre comiendo cordero salió.
And even lamb is not a problem for your shulchan orech, for your meal.
Aún esto no es prohibido para tu comida.
But boy, oh boy, if you think that this is some ceremonial thing to eat lamb, you're violating Jewish law.
Si crees que es algo ceremonial comer esto, entonces estás violando ley
And the
judía.
problem is in the confusion of it.
La problema es en la confusión de ello.
See, we don't have the temple.
No tenemos el tiempo.
We cannot eat the Pesach offering. We
No
can't make
podemos-
the Pesach offering.
No podemos hacer la ofrenda de Pesaj. No se puede. No hay tiempo.
So pretending to eat the Pesach offering is a violation of the Torah.
Pretendiendo comer la ofrenda de Pesaj es una violación.
This is actually taking Hashem's name casually.
Eso es realmente tomando el nombre de Hashem casualmente.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
if you eat lamb,
Entonces, si comes cordero,
by most Ashkenazi tradition, it's too easy to confuse it with the idea of actually eating the Pesach offering, which we can't do.
según la mayoría de las tradiciones Pesaj o los pensamientos de Pesaj, de Ashkenaz, es muy fácil, es demasiado fácil para confundir eso con comer el Pesaj. Así que no lo hacen.
So we don't do it. We'll eat turkey, we'll eat chicken, we'll eat brisket.
Entonces no lo hacen. Comen pavo, comen pollo, brisket, otras cosas.
If you come to my house, you're going to get lamb.
Pray that I may eat of the carbon Pesach in my lifetime.
Amen.
Si van a mi casa, entonces van a comer eso.
I tell you, in my house this year,
En mi casa este año,
we're making the following:
vamos a hacer lo siguiente.
chicken,
Pollo,
kebabs,
kebabs,
and lamb chops.
carne en los palitos y luego como
But
steak.
they're all part of the Shulchan Orech. They're not part of any ceremony.
Pero no son parte de ninguna ceremonia.
Okay, here is another.
And if someone tries, 40 lashes, 40,
Si alguien lo intenta, son 40 latigazos
with a piece of wet spaghetti
con un pedazo de espagueti mojado.
after Pesach.
Después de Pesaj.
Yeah, I am seeing a lot of questions around gluten-free.
Sobre gluten free, libre de
This
gluten.
is something I can really speak about because my wife is gluten-free.
De eso es algo que yo puedo hablar porque mi esposa es gluten free.
I am going to give you the best practice with gluten-free stuff
Les voy a dar la mejor práctica para cosas sin gluten.
because a lot of this is nothingness. It also tastes like nothingness.
Mucho de esto no sabe a nada y es nada.
There's different type of things they're using, like rice flours and so forth.
Están usando harinas de arroz y cosas así.
The Rebbetzin telling me that if you even have 1% doubt,
La Rebetzi me dice que si tienen aún un porcentaje de duda
and she love her gluten-free stuff, it's going to the trash.
y los ama, entonces va a ir a la basura.
You see, the problem is not just the ingredients, and everybody need to understand this.
La problema no es solamente los ingredientes y todos tienen que entender eso.
Oh, is it not making a factory?
No es hecho en una fábrica.
What else has been mixed in the same factory? Where is there cross-contamination, perhaps? You never know.
¿Qué más se ha hecho en esa misma
This
fábrica?
is what the kosher hechsher is all about.
Exactly.
De eso se toca el tema de kosher.
And doesn't Chris like hummus? Give her hummus.
Oh, yes. That, yeah, we eat hummus, we eat rice. If you're Ashkenazi, you don't eat those things.
Si eres Ashkenazi, no comes esas cosas. Sefardí, sí.
But you see, that's more a minhag. This is more a tradition. It is not like, it is not a real hard halacha for that everybody agree upon. It's a minhag.
No es halajá, algo que todos estén de acuerdo. Eso nomás es una tradición.
But the kitniot?
Well,
no, the kitniot are in. This is a really interesting historical thing.
Kitniot es una cosa muy interesante históricamente.
A fellow named Yosef Karo wrote the Shulchan Aruch, which takes all of the Jewish law out of the Talmud and just organizes it.
Un hombre sacó toda la ley judía, ¿verdad? Del Talmud y lo organizó, o de la Torah y lo puso.
This was in the 1600s, and so the Shulchan Aruch began to be circulated, and everybody loved it. It was a wonderful document.
Lo empezaron a circular y a todos les encantó.
But the Ashkenazim read it and says, this is terrific, but we don't do it that way.
Los Ashkenaz dijeron, eso es estupendo, pero nosotros no lo hacemos de esa manera.
So Rav Moshe Israelish actually took Yosef Karo's Shulchan Aruch and wrote interlineations between the lines saying, well, this is what the Ashkenazim do. So both methods are actually in the Shulchan Aruch. Everybody was happy. Everybody had one Shulchan Aruch. And if you don't do kitniot, it says so. And if you do kitniot, it says that also.
Entonces eso se llama el Shulchan Aruch. Entonces son las tradiciones. Entonces el primero fue sefardí y con el otro rabino vino que era Ashkenaz, miró esto y dijo, pues nosotros no nos aplica, ¿verdad? Entonces él hizo todos los cambios o las diferencias entre Ashkenaz y sefardí y los puso entre las otras líneas del texto original. Entonces ahora el Shulchan Aruch es para los dos, sefardí y Ashkenaz.
And in this way, Jewish people do not have any arguments anymore about anything.
Entonces, de esta manera, la gente judía no tiene argumentos sobre cualquier cosa.
Here we go. What is chazeret?
¿Qué es chazeret?
The simple chazeret is usually translated as horseradish, I think, in English, correct?
No, it's the other one. The maror is generally the horseradish.
Okay. Okay, in our tradition,
onion or romaine, right?
Yes, in different tradition. I encourage you, Carola, to read some of the things I wrote in the new publication.
That's best.
Okay.
Dice que se traduce más como lo traducimos como lechuga, cosas así, pero les anima a mirarlo el comentario en el libro nuevo que ha puesto, el comentario.
But in general, just the bitter element, again, we are identifying with the Jewish people. And
ese elemento amargo, con eso estamos identificándonos con la gente judía.
The rabbi told me today they come dressed up like Bnei Israel to their own seder. That's the way the Yemenite do it.
Él me dijo que ellos se visten como los judíos a su propio seder.
So the idea here is about identification. There is also deeper meaning. I encourage you to look deeper into some of those publications for that.
Esa es una costumbre yemenite, pero el rabino va a mirar más profundo en esas costumbres para hablar sobre eso.
Let me see. Let me see the next question. If you do have a question, this is a tough one, Rabbi Bernstein. Let's see what you think about that. What do I do in the Philippines?
Aquí una persona de los Philippines.
If there is no kosher wine for Pesach. Wow.
No hay vino kosher para Pesach.
Well, this is another one of those instances.
Esa es otra de esas instancias.
Believe me, you're not the first Jew in the world or the first person putting on a Seder in the world that has lived in a location where you can't get the elements of the Seder.
Créeme que usted no es la primera persona que ha vivido en una parte del mundo donde usted quiere hacer una cena de ceder y no puede lograr agarrar los elementos que se necesitan.
My suggestion is,
mi sugerencia es,
get grape wine.
Yep.
Toma vino de uva.
Know that it's not kosher, and next year, hopefully there'll be kosher wine available.
Con la conocencia que no es kosher y el próximo año te esfuerzas para agarrar un vino que sí es kosher.
What
Remember,
about
it's just like drinking dust of the earth.
Igual es como tomando el polvo de la tierra.
pasta? 99.99999% of pasta you can take to the trash. That's my suggestion to everybody.
Yeah,
Hasta
it's,
el 91.9999% lo puedes tirar a la basura. Es
yes,
opinión.
gluten-free pasta is still made in the same factories as the regular pasta, so it's got chametz in it.
La pasta que es libre de gluten también es hecho en la misma fábrica que hacen las otras pastas, así que está contaminada y no se puede usar.
Why is it says in Aramaic and not in Yeshua's Hebrew? Well,
Porque
It's
much
se
of
in
the-
Yeshua's Aramaic.
en hebreo.
It's in Yeshua's Aramaic. Yeshua spoke Aramaic. That was
Es
the
en
lingua
arameo
franca
de Yeshua.
of the society.
Él habló arameo, era la lengua común en ese tiempo de la sociedad.
look, the common people pray in Hebrew when Yeshua went to the synagogue and they read in Hebrew. But the average person spoke
But they
Aramaic.
also read in Aramaic. They read
Yeah,
the
that's a good
Targum.
to it so people understand.
Yeah,
So the people,
and certain prayers they just did in Aramaic, like the Kaddish.
Los que leían de la Torá, los que hacían las oraciones, lo podían hacer en hebreo, pero también lo hacían en arameo, porque era la lengua común y también se dejaba lugar para eso, para hacer las oraciones y lecturas en arameo.
There's sections of Daniel and of Ezra that are in Aramaic.
De
It
Daniel,
is a scriptural language.
es un lenguaje de ese tiempo.
for sure. Yeah, that should not concern anybody. You're going to sing Aramaic song in part of the Agada, Kol Dichfin. It's
You're gonna
Aramaic.
finish with one.
¿Verdad? Cantamos un canto en arameo.
Yes, so
Chad
that's
Gadya, Chad Gadya.
yeah. Much of the Agada is Aramaic. That is true.
Mucha de la Agadá es en arameo, eso es cierto.
Let me see if you have a question, because I'm sorry, guys, there's so much in the chat here. I probably lost some questions. So if you do have questions, please type it in so I can see it.
Hay muchas preguntas, por favor, escríbenlo para que lo pueda ver. Está tratando de ver en un mar de preguntas.
So again, I don't want to take what Rabbi Bernstein say out of context about the unkosher wine.
What?
No quiero sacar lo que dijo el rabino Bernstein.
We're not saying it's okay. We're
No estamos
saying
diciendo que
you
está bien.
got what you got.
Estamos diciendo lo que tienes.
Rather than not doing the blessings for the wine,
En vez de
use what you have.
para el vino, usa lo que tienes.
If it's inconvenient to get kosher wine, be
Sí.
inconvenienced and get kosher wine.
Si no es conveniente agarrar un vino kosher, entonces pasa la inconveniencia de agarrar el vino kosher.
If
Así
it's
les-
impossible to get kosher wine, that's a different thing.
Si no es posible lograr agarrar vino que es kosher, entonces eso es otra cosa.
Now, Suzanne, you are asking a question. Can you put an itemized list of everything that need for at least to create the seder plate? I assume.
Una pregunta de poner una lista de todo lo que se necesita para esta cena.
Suzanne, I'll make it very simple for you. Download pesach.shuvu.tv. Page 1, you have the photo, the picture of the agada, of the seder plate.
Baje
Inside the
el
Haggadah.
figure del Haggadah de Pesaj y en página número 1 va a tener un retrato con todas las cosas que van a necesitar para la cena.
If you have any
Nobody's asked about the egg yet.
yeah,
No he contestado sobre el banquillo aún.
okay. But I want to say this, in the new publication, it's not a substitution for agada, God
La
forbid.
publicación nueva no es una sustitución para una Haggadah. Es un
But I gave you some ways to improvise things.
Pero les di maneras de poder improvisar cosas.
So make sure you get the new publication, because it might be easier for you to find some substitutes as needed.
Así que agarren la publicación nueva porque quizás se les haga más fácil encontrar sustitutos para cosas.
Since you brought up the egg, Rabbi Bernstein, you want to give a quick word about the egg?
Como
Sure.
mencionó el blanquillo, Rabino Bernstein, que era una palabra rápida sobre el blanquillo.
Okay. So in Deuteronomy 16, it tells us that
Deuteronomio
3
16
times a year,
que 3 veces al año
all your men are to appear before Hashem in the temple.
todos los hombres deben aparecerse delante de Hashem, presentarse delante de Hashem en el templo.
Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot.
Pesach, Shavuot y Sukkot.
And they're not to appear empty-handed.
Y no deben presentarse delante de Dios con las manos vacías.
That is, they're to bring an offering.
En otras palabras, deben traer una ofrenda.
So because of these 3 festivals, it's known as the festival offering.
Entonces, por causa de esos 3 fiestas, se conoce como la ofrenda de la fiesta,
The Chagiga.
las Hagiga,
Chag, festival. Chagiga, the festival sacrifice.
el sacrificio Hagiga, el sacrificio de la fiesta.
I want to talk about that. One. A big question. We could spend an hour on that particular question, but I just want to touch on this.
Pero quiero tocar en esto.
Because there is a real toxic teaching
Porque hay
in
una
the Hebrew root movement
en el movimiento de raíces hebreas.
that a person cannot partake
Que una
of
persona
Pesach, of the Seder,
no puede tomar parte en el Seder de Pesach
without Brit Milah.
sin un Brit Milá.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Que he escuchado.
Rabbi
We
Bernstein, you want to start?
specifically invite
Específicamente se
and
invita
Gentiles to partake.
The Gerim. The Chag is about the Gerim. We read about it in the Agada.
los gentiles.
The confusion is
La
in the
confusión.
eating of the sacrifice itself, the Pesach,
El comer de la ofrenda
Exactly.
which nobody I know has ever done,
que nadie que yo conozco lo ha hecho, jamás.
right? Because no
Judío.
temple.
Porque no hay templo.
So we can't make the offering anyway,
Entonces no podemos hacer la ofrenda de todos modos.
okay? When the temple's rebuilt
Cuando
and
el
we
templo
can
se
offer the
reconstruye,
Korban Pesach,
y podemos ofrecer el Corban Pesaj,
then there will be people at my table that will not be given a piece of that.
entonces va a haber gente en mi mesa que no se le va a dar un pedazo de eso.
But they can partake of the entire Passover Seder other
Pero
than
pueden-
eating that little bit of the Afikomen.
Pueden compartir todo en la mesa de Pesaj, menos ese poquito pedacito de la ofrenda de Pesaj.
Yeah. Please, friends, do not listen to the Hebrew roots people. Anybody need to tell you have to go and run to do Brit Milah before you sit on the table. It's wrong. It's a wrong teaching.
Darse antes de ir a la mesa de Pesaj, eso es incorrecto, es equivocado.
As a matter of fact, I was talking to the rabbi today. What a wonderful thing it is to have Goyim coming to celebrate Pesach. And he said, yeah, it's a wonderful thing. He was so excited about this.
Estaba bien emocionado sobre esto.
Costa asked the question. That's a good question.
Entonces, pregunta,
Should I focus on cleaning my literal house, or should I focus on cleaning my spiritual relationship?
¿debería enfocarme en limpiar mi casa pequeña o debería enfocarme en limpiar mi relación espiritual?
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Decirle algo.
Let your light shine before men, that they see what good deeds and praise your heavenly Father in heaven.
Deja que tu luz brille delante en la presencia de hombres para que ellos miren esa luz y glorifiquen a tu Padre que está en los cielos.
You have
When
a responsibility to do both.
Exactly.
La responsabilidad de hacer los dos.
Yeah, that is exactly the point. What people see is the external. They see the external a lot of time.
Lo de afuera lo vemos todos,
But the internal better reflect what's coming out of us.
pero el interno debe reflejar lo que está saliendo de nosotros.
Remember
So
what
you-
Yeshua said about the offering. You know, if
Recuerda
you're
lo que
bringing the
Yeshua
offering,
Se la ofrenda, si vas a traer ofrenda,
you have something against your brother,
tienes algo contra tu hermano,
stop what you're doing and go get it right with your brother, then bring the offering.
para lo que estás haciendo y arregla la cosa con tu hermano y luego puedes traer tu ofrenda.
Why? Because the offering will be pigul. It'll be
Tu
invalid.
ofrenda va a ser, va a ser inválida.
Your heart must be right. Your
Tu corazón
mind
debe
must be
estar bien,
right.
tu
And your
mente debe estar
practice
bien,
must be right.
y tu práctica debe estar bien.
So you got to do both.
Yes.
Entonces, de los dos.
Yes, we're going back to South Africa again. If you have questions, we have some time, so please continue to submit those questions if you have any more.
Preguntas.
But Penny is asking, I'm invited to the Seder, where they for sure will have unkosher wine. Am I okay to attend if I take my own kosher wine, if I can find it?
Me invitaron a un sede donde de seguro no van a tener vino que es kosher. Estoy bien si yo atiendo y traigo mi propio vino kosher, si lo puedo encontrar.
That's a nice solution. Bring enough kosher wine for everybody.
There you go.
It's your tzedakah, seriously.
En serio, si es posible.
Yeah, that's a good testimony, actually. And maybe it's a teaching moment.
Yeah.
Quizás es un momento para enseñar.
And if you cannot bring a kosher wine for everybody, bring a bottle. So at least one cup, they can do lechaim with the kosher wine, you know?
Y si no puedes traer suficiente por todos, trae una botella por lo menos para que puedan tener una copa por lo menos que es vino.
We don't do any of these things to show ourselves better than anybody else.
No hacemos ninguna de estas cosas con la intención de mostrarnos mejor que cualquier otra persona.
And if that enters our mind, then the entire mitzvah of the Seder is pickle. It is invalid.
Nuestro corazón, entonces todo el proceso que estamos haciendo es pigur, es inválido.
Because our heart's not in the right place.
Porque nuestro corazón no está en el lugar apropiado. Correcto.
Right? When Hashem took us out of Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, we wouldn't have come with him because our heart was wrong.
Cuando Hashem sacó de Egipto con un brazo fuerte y un brazo extendido, a nosotros no íbamos salido con él si nuestro corazón no estaba bien.
So part of the reason we do this every year is to get past that.
Amen.
Parte de la razón que hacemos esto cada año es pasar eso.
Excellent.
We're not better than everybody else.
No
We
somos
just
mejores
have
que
been shown
todos
the
los
way.
demás. Simplemente se nos ha enseñado el camino.
Let's go to this next question. Shalom, rabbis. If you have a family member who is not walking in strong relation with Hashem, they can partake the Passover.
Absolutely.
Not only that they can take, I want to remind you something.
La pregunta es si tenemos un miembro de la familia que no está caminando fuerte en relación con Hashem, ellos pueden participar en Pesaj.
In the Magid, we are reading about 4 sons.
En el Megid estamos leyendo de 4 hijos.
And each one of them dysfunctional in their own little way, actually.
Y cada uno de ellos es disfuncional.
We have
What
three
is the
more
message
sons
of-
right here in front of you on the screen. I won't tell you which is which.
Tienes 3 de ellos aquí en la pantalla enfrente de ti. No te voy a decir cuál es cuál.
What is the power of the Pesach?
¿Qué es el poder del Pesaj?
That they're all coming to the table despite their spiritual condition.
¿Cuál es ese poder que cada uno viene a la mesa a pesar de su condición espiritual?
And
The
who
message
knows?
of Geulah is a message that they're coming to the table together.
Todos se están acercando a la mesa juntos.
So if one more sentence, Rabbi Bernstein, I just want to say that there are 4 cups,
Que hay 4 copas,
there are 4 sons,
hay 4 hijos,
there are 4 questions.
hay 4 preguntas.
I want to change your mind for a moment, how you look at the entire thing you call the Seder meal. For 1 second.
La cena de sed.
It's like a Geulah. It's a picture of Geulah.
Es un retrato de Geulah.
Who owns the Geulah?
¿Quién tiene la Geulah?
The wise son?
¿El hijo sabio?
No, maybe it's the wicked son.
No, quizás es el maligno.
I would like to suggest to you that each and every one of us hold a piece of the Geulah, and our ability to come to the table, that is the power
Y
of
la
the Pesach.
habilidad de cada uno de nosotros poder llegar a la mesa, ese es el poder de la Geulah de Pesaj.
Rabbi Bernstein, you want to add?
And who knows? That
¿Y quién sabe?
You've been studying and now you're doing a Seder.
Estudiando,
Maybe.
que no sé, quizás.
Maybe you're doing a Seder for this
Quizás estás
family
haciendo-
member for such a time as this.
Amen.
Their heart may turn.
Por un tiempo como este.
Amen. That's exactly right. Have somebody in your home. Don't do it alone. That's another important part of the Seder.
Inviten a personas, no lo hagan solos. Eso es una cosa, un elemento importante del Seder.
By the way, I just want to make an important note as a topic of halakha.
Una nota importante es un tema de halajá.
And I speak about that specifically in the new publication, but I want you to put this as a first rule. Ashkenazi, Sfaradi, doesn't matter.
Y hablo de eso en la publicación nueva y quiero hablar sobre eso. No importa si eres Ashkenaz o Sefardí.
By midnight, the afikoman have to be eaten.
Ya para medianoche el afikomen se tiene que comer.
So even if you go and talk and do this, midnight you have the afikoman already eaten. Make sure of this.
Otras cosas y hablan y todo lo que sea, pero antes de medianoche se tiene que comer el afikomen.
Let's go to our Brazilian brother.
Vamos a nuestro hermano brasileño.
Shalom, Josel, you are asking the question.
Shalom, Josel, me está haciendo la pregunta.
Erev Shabbat and Seder Shel Pesach?
¿Cuál es la secuencia apropiada? Erev Shabbat y Seder Shel Pesach.
I think you're asking, do you light Shabbat candle? You don't light them separate.
No las parece que estás hablando sobre el encendido de las velas, pero no las enciendes apartadas, separadas.
Remember what Rabbi Bernstein...
The Seder is begun after candles are lit.
El Seder empieza después de que encienden las velas.
Yeah, so, Shabbat have to enter in, obviously.
El Shabbat tiene que entrar antes del Seder.
I think that's the question. If not, let us know and we will clarify it.
Parece que esto era el punto que estaba preguntando, y si no, ponga otra vez y clarificamos.
I have a friend who wants to roast a lamb for Pesach, but they're not Jewish. Okay. Should I encourage him to stop?
Que quiere rostizar un cordero para Pesach, pero no son judíos. ¿Debería yo animarlos a parar, evitar eso?
Again, we've spoken about this. I just encourage you to be careful.
Les animo que tengan cuidado.
Ask the question, why do you want to make lamb? What? That's the first question, why?
¿Por qué cordero? ¿Por qué?
Okay, so that's where I would start. Because you cannot bring Korban Pesach.
No podemos traer Korban Pesach.
Without Bet Mikdash. That's the bottom line.
Sin un Beit Mikdash, sin un templo.
And I want everybody to remember that the Korban Pesach could be a goat also.
Quiero que
It
todos
doesn't have to be a lamb.
Korban Pesach también puede ser un chivo. Puede ser eso también. No tenía que ser un cordero.
Let's see this one. This has come from all the way from Canada. There are ideas that it's okay to have flour, yeast, etc. during Pesach, including making your own matzah, as long as you don't have regular bread. What are the halachos that address this?
Hay una pregunta que viene desde Canadá. Hay ideas que está bien usar harina, yeast, ¿verdad? Levadura durante Pesach, incluyendo haciendo tu propia matzah, nomás con que no haces pan regular. ¿Qué son las fuentes halágicos que pueden dirigirse hacia eso para hacer esas preguntas?
One of the longest tractates in the Talmud is Tractate Pesachim.
Más largo en el Talmud es, what was that name, Rabbi?
Pesachim.
Pesachim.
And the answer is in there.
Y la respuesta está ahí.
But really the answer is in the Torah.
Pero realmente la respuesta está en la Torah.
It doesn't talk about
no habla sobre
regular bread. It talks about chametz.
Habla sobre chametz.
So there's lots more to chametz than just regular bread.
Así que hay mucho más a esta idea de chametz que no más pan regular.
And that's what Rav Shapira and I have been talking about all evening.
Y de eso hemos estado hablando, Rabino y yo, toda esta tarde.
Let's take a moment and talk about the Ta'anit of the firstborn. I see quite a few chatter on the Ta'anit. Rabbi Bernstein, you want to start to talk about the Ta'anit, and I will continue?
Okay, so the Ta'anit Bachora is the fast of the firstborn.
Es el ayuno del primogénito.
Which is me. I'm one of them. And Joe. So sunrise to sunset on the 14th day of Nisan.
Cuando de levantar el sol hasta bajar el sol del 14 de Nisan, no comemos y no tomamos.
There's a lot of teachings on this.
Hay muchas enseñanzas sobre esto.
One of the things I like to remind people of is the
Mhm.
tremendous sacrifice that the Goyim made for the sake of Israel.
Una de las cosas que me gusta recordar a la gente fue el sacrificio tremendo de los Goyim que hicieron para esto.
Remember that after the fourth plague, I think,
Recuerdan que después de la cuarta plaga,
Pharaoh
Parece.
was ready to let the children of Israel go.
el faraón estaba listo para soltar a los hijos de Israel.
But Hashem hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Pero Hashem le endureció el corazón o lo fortaleció el corazón.
And again, after the fifth plague and sixth plague and seventh plague and eighth plague and ninth plague, and finally,
Y otra,
he
vez,
hardened his heart to the point where his son was killed.
y otra vez después le endureció, le fortaleció el corazón después del quinto plaga, sexto, séptimo, octavo, noveno, y por fin hasta que murió su primogénito, su hijo, en la décima plaga.
This is a tremendous sacrifice of the Egyptians.
Eso fue un sacrificio tremendo, tremendo de los egipcios.
And we remember, in preparation for the Geulah,
Y nosotros recordamos
remember what they did for us.
lo que ellos hicieron para nosotros.
Yeah, I wanted to think about this particular Ta'anit a little bit different.
Quiero pensar de ese Ta'anit un poquito diferente.
The Ta'anit for the Bechor is much more like a Ta'anit of thanksgiving in many ways.
Es mucho más como un Ta'anit de dar gracias.
There is a gratitude for this in preparation for Pesach. So it's not like other Ta'anit. In my opinion, it's much more, there's an attitude of thankfulness entering into this
En
thing
mi opinión, hay una actitud también de agradecimiento en esto.
for the Bechor. Liz, this question, man, this is the product of the Hebrew roots again.
Eso es producto de raíces hebreas otra vez.
Can a person persistently do, if he had a surgery, can they do it following or wait until next year? They should do it.
Una persona si tuvo cirugía pueden participar en PESA o lo tienen que esperar hasta el próximo mes o al próximo año. Lo deberían hacer. Lo deberían hacer.
Is this person in a hospital room? If they
No, she's talking about, yeah,
Let's say they're not allowed to eat at all.
Que no se les permite comer nada.
You can sit with them and read the Haggadah,
Puedes sentarte con ellos y leer la Haggadah.
right? If they can eat just a little bit of matzah, then they can eat a little bit of matzah.
Si pueden comer un poquitito de la matzah, entonces pueden comer un poquito de matzah.
Pesach Sheni, which comes the month after, is
Pesach.
only about the Karban Pesach, the
Right.
sacrifice, which none of us are doing.
right.
Solamente se explica sobre el sacrificio de Pesach, el Corban Pesach, y ahora no se hace. Así que de todos modos no lo hacemos, no nos aplica a nosotros hoy.
Amen, amen. So yeah, bring them in. And if they are not in the hospital, they should be on the Seder table.
Tráelos. Y si no van a estar en el hospital, que estén ahí en la mesa de sed.
Actually, let me take you a step further.
En la actualidad, dejar llevarlos un pasito más.
According to Halacha,
De acuerdo de Halajá,
when Magid takes place,
cuando Magui toma lugar, toma a cabo,
except to a person that is blind,
menos a una persona que es ciego,
even let's say a child in the first grade,
a un niño en primer grado,
this is Halacha. We have even women. Everybody have to read the story of the Magid with no exception.
leer la historia del Megid, sin excepción.
Okay, so when you go around the table and you read the Magid,
Así que cuando dan vuelta a la mesa y todos leen del Megid,
even if a person is a terrible reader,
aun si la persona es horrible en leer,
and he says, skip me, I'm a bad reader.
dicen, bríquenme a mí, pasen sobre mí, no me tomen en cuenta.
So it's forbidden.
Es prohibido eso.
He must read. Only person who cannot, if a person cannot read, that's a different issue, like a blindness. That's it.
Todos deberían leer y la única persona que es excepto es el ciego, o si simplemente no puede.
But even in such a case, Halacha says that someone must read in their place.
For sure.
Aún en un caso
Not
especial,
just somebody else reading, but somebody else must read for them.
alguien más puede leer para ellos. No nomás
Yeah.
en tu lugar, pero para ellos.
Yes, yes, yes. Again, when do we do Havdalah?
Otra vez, cuando hacemos Abdalá,
As you are transitioning to the Yom Tov.
Right, to Chol
transicionando.
Hamoed.
Yom Tov.
Yes.
Well, so that would be Sunday night, you do a Havdalah Katan.
Yep.
El domingo en la
you,
noche hacemos un Abdalá Katán, porque las primeras 2 noches son
you
Shabbat.
don't light the candle and
No
you don't
enciendes
drink
la-
the wine, but you smell the spices.
tomas
I think
el
that's
vino.
right.
Can we eat lamb? Again, what's your intention in eating the lamb?
Si podemos comer cordero, ¿cuál es tu intención en comer?
Let's go to what is Lola is asking us.
Lo que nos está preguntando Lola. Shalom, rabinos. No tengo una congregación que siga las instrucciones que usted está dando. Shalom, rabbis. I don't have a congregation that follows the instructions that you are giving.
This is not about the congregation. This is about the Seder in your home.
No se
That's
toca,
where the Seder should be taking place.
no se
Now, a
toca,
lot of congregations do a Seder, but it should be done in your home.
no se toca sobre la congregación. Estamos hablando sobre tener ceder en tu casa. Muchas congregaciones lo hacen, pero se debería hacer en casa.
And actually, I see the same kind of line of questions here from Ruby.
Miro el mismo pensamiento en la pregunta de Ruby.
She said, in my community, what they use as Haggadah is far from traditional Jewish Haggadah.
Donde el Haggadah que tienen es muy lejos de tradicional judío.
They incorporate other stuff in the Haggadah, like hyssops. Wow, that's a new one.
Otras cosas en el Haggadah como hizo. Lo que le
What
dieron-
is my opinion?
¿Qué es mi opinión?
I have a very strong opinion about this one.
Tengo una opinión muy fuerte sobre esto.
The Exodus is a story of unity.
El Éxodo es una historia sobre unidad.
And I believe we should read the same story as all of Klal Israel. So here is the way you resolve it.
Yo creo que debemos leer la misma historia que todo Israel, toda la gente de Israel. Así como
When you do the Seder in your community,
haces el ceder en tu comunidad,
do it with your community.
hazlo con tu comunidad.
On the second day,
En el segundo día,
do it with Israel.
hazlo con Israel.
Okay? Ultimately, maybe one day, we as Messianic community will do the Seder like all of Israel. But that's our wish and prayer, and that's why we have those broadcasts.
Últimamente nosotros algún día lo haremos como todo Israel con todo Israel.
Yes. Let me see.
One year, when I was young,
Un año cuando yo estaba joven,
I was volunteering at Kibbutz Cholata in northern Israel.
fui un voluntario en un kibbutz.
It's a very communist kibbutz,
Era un kibbutz muy comunista.
and they had a Seder because
Y
it was
tuvieron un
Pesach,
Pesaj para Pesaj.
and God was not mentioned once.
Yeah.
Ninguna vez.
But to be with the community, you go anyway.
Para estar con la comunidad, vas como de todos modos, como quieras.
And then, as Rav Shapira said, you have your own home one and you do it correctly.
Y como dijo el rabino Shapira, haces el que tienes en tu hogar y lo haces de la manera correcta.
And there is no excuse for anybody because we put this amazing publication as a gift for you.
No hay excusa para nadie porque hicimos esta publicación para ustedes como regalo.
And there's absolutely no reason that all of you will not run and get this publication
No hay ningún
to
razón
take
para-
it even a step further. There's no reason.
de esta publicación, está gratis para todos. Primero,
Just go to Amazon, the Hidden Mashiach in Agadat Pesach.
y aquí está el acompañante, el Pesaj escondido, el Mesías escondido en Pesaj.
When Roni and I were visiting her son in Santa Cruz, California,
Cuando
which
Ronnie
is the heart of the hippies.
y yo estamos visitando a su hijo en California, en Santa Cruz, ahí el corazón de los hippies.
They have a hippie Haggadah.
Ellos tienen un Haggadah hippie.
I am not kidding. And so you will see all kinds of things out there.
vas a ver todo tipo de cosas allá afuera.
Don't let it confuse you.
No dejas que te confunde.
I want to answer this point, Kimberly. Kimberly, I want to answer this again. Is your salvation discreet if you know about the Passover and you don't observe it?
Es si tu salvación está a riesgo, si tú conoces del Pesaj y no lo observas.
Let me actually answer you in a different way.
Deja contestarte de otra manera.
If you don't show up to the Passover table,
Si no llegas a la mesa de Pesaj,
it's not your salvation that is at risk.
no es tu salvación que está a riesgo,
It's the corporate salvation that is at risk.
es la salvación corporal de todo Israel que está a riesgo.
The entire concept is we are experiencing a personal salvation.
El concepto entero es que nosotros estamos experimentando una salvación personal, una redención.
And it's in progress, right? Those 4 sons of Israel, they're work in progress.
Los 4 hijos de Israel son un trabajo, una obra en proceso.
But the home run is the fact that we're coming together to experience redemption as one body.
Pero la meta, la victoria es que todos estamos juntándonos como un cuerpo.
This is the Tikkun Olam.
Yeah. It's tikkun of all of Israel.
Israel, Olam.
Yes.
Una
The
reparación
problem is,
en total de todos.
particularly in the United States,
La problema en particular en Estados Unidos
that we have been taught to exclusively think of ourselves.
es que se nos ha enseñado a pensar exclusivamente de nosotros mismos
And it's not all about me.
y no se toca todo sobre mí, sobre yo.
It's about Israel.
Se
Yep.
toca tocante Israel
Through Israel, it's about the world.
y por medio de Israel se toca de todo el mundo.
Millie, I'm going to answer in one word, yes. Could a 9-year-old boy that's not been circumcised partake in Pesach? %, yes. Stop excluding people from the Pesach. This is a crazy Hebrew teaching.
La pregunta es que si puedes un niño de 9 años que no ha sido circuncidado porque su papá no lo permitía.
Those words that we start the Seder with, Alachmania, Kol Dichfin Yetev, come, anybody who's hungry, come, let them eat.
El Pesaj es todos los que tengan hambre vengan a comer. No
This
hay que
is confusion.
excluir a nadie en el Pesaj.
This is confusion.
Esa es confusión.
The Seder is not the Pesach.
No es el Pesaj.
Yeah,
The Pesach
exactly.
is the sacrifice of the lamb done in the temple.
El Pesaj es el sacrificio del cordero que es hecho en el templo.
Everybody participates in the Seder, should participate in the Seder.
Absolutely.
Todos.
Yes. Angie, sorry about that, guys. Angie, I want to answer this one. Hopefully it will be easier. How do I do it in practicality? Saturday night, if I am not going to light fire, okay?
Dice, ¿cómo lo hago esto en practicalidad? Uno no puede empezar al lumbre el viernes para calentar la comida. ¿Cómo lo hacemos viernes en la noche? Y sábado
I'm
no
going to give you two solutions.
se pueda.
Number one, most ovens, like our oven, have a Shabbat mode.
Número 1, la mayoría de los hornos, como el de nuestros, tienen un modo de Shabbat.
You set the oven Shabbat mode, okay?
Lo pones el horno en el modo de Shabbat.
Number two, you use a microwave.
Número 2, usas un microondas.
Between those two solutions,
Entre esas dos soluciones,
you do not have to kindle fire.
no tienes que encender lumbre.
Rabbi Bernstein, do you guys do anything different?
Rabino Bernstein, ¿ustedes saben hacer algo diferente?
In Israel, they have what's called the pilot that you put and it's for heating. That's the best solution. But those are hard to come by here.
Que es para calentar, pero esos son difíciles de encontrar aquí.
There's through a variety of Jewish cultures around the world, there are hot dishes, hot food that is made before Shabbat, and then you put in the oven, you seal the oven.
Yep.
And then Shabbat afternoon, you've got hot food.
Hay diferentes culturas alrededor del mundo que son ashkenaz, ¿verdad? Judías, que haces un plato caliente y lo pones en el horno y ya cuando está listo el Shabbat, lo sacas y está listo.
So if there is absolutely no other solution, the solutions Rav Shapira just mentioned are better. But in a last-ditch effort, put the food in and seal the oven.
Yeah. Las respuestas que dio el rabino están bien, pero si eso no está trabajando para ti, nomás mete la comida dentro del horno, déjalo ahí y...
Okay, so we're nearly out of time. We have 1 or 2 more minutes. Rabbi Bernstein, from the nature of the questions today, I want to give you a minute or two to recap a few important highlights that from the spirit of we do it annually. We ask those, we do this is our tradition, right? From the spirit of the question this year, anything else you want to elaborate on or conclude or give instructions?
Pasado la naturaleza de las preguntas, ¿hay algo más que quiere comentar?
2 things.
2 cosas.
Do not confuse the Pesach, the sacrifice done in the temple,
El sacrificio del
with the
templo
Passover Seder. They are 2 completely separate things.
son 2 cosas completamente separadas.
Everyone is invited to the Passover Seder.
A todos se les invita al seder.
Okay? And then the second thing,
Y la segunda cosa,
well, no, that's really the big one. Go ahead.
ese es el grande.
Well, I'm going to tell you the big one for me this year.
Les voy a decir el grande para mí este año.
It's not contradictory, actually, to what Rabbi Bernstein is saying.
Lo que dijo el rabino Bernstein,
I do agree 100% that,
100%.
you know, I'll tell you this. Some of my best memories as a child
Memorias como niño
is around the Seder table.
es alrededor de la mesa de seder.
We can teach you how to do the do and don'ts and this and that.
Vamos a enseñarles cómo hacer los detalles, esto sí, esto no.
And it can become almost a mechanical religious experience.
Puede convertirse en algo, una experiencia religiosa mecánica.
Let me tell you the heart of the Pesach.
Deje decirles el corazón del Pesaj.
Unity in the family.
Unidad en la familia.
Unity in the Seder table.
Unidad en la mesa de seder.
A lot of commotion, loud.
Mucha conmoción, ruido,
I'm
gozo.
telling you, this is the things that impacted me.
Esas son las cosas que me impactaron a mí.
Running children.
Children!
Niños.
I still remember
Yo todavía recuerdo.
standing up on the chair, singing the 4 questions. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yo lo recuerdo como si fuera ayer.
Get your children involved.
Involucren a sus hijos, a sus niños.
I put specific traditions in the new publication for children. Incorporate it.
Para niños, en ese seder, en esas adiciones, incorpóranlas.
I want to say a word to the ladies
Quiero darle una palabra a las señoras,
because I know you have a lot to worry about.
porque yo sé que ustedes tienen mucho de qué preocuparse.
It should not be such an exhausting time that by the time Erev Pesach comes, you just want to go to bed. You're so exhausted.
No debe ser un tiempo tan exhaustivo que terminando el Pesaj se quieren a dormir, a acostar.
So make it a family event.
Hagan un evento familiar.
Get your husband to help you.
Involucre a su esposo que te ayude.
Get your children, like we play a game, as an example.
Es un juego, por ejemplo.
Starting Sunday night, today,
Domingo en la noche, hoy,
we have a Hametz police in the house.
tenemos un policía Hametz en la casa.
And we make a big deal of this if we find Hametz already now.
Una cosa grande de ello, como si fuera Hametz ya.
Noah going wild when he finds Hametz, informing me, screaming, Hametz, Hametz. It's become a game.
Es un juego.
Make it a joy.
Hágalo un gozo.
Guess what? Geula
Geuna
should not be like going to the bathroom and be constipated.
no debería ser como ir al baño y ser constipado. No puede.
We got to find joy in Geula.
Tenemos que encontrar gozo en la guerra.
And that is my prayer for everybody,
Y esta es mi oración para todos.
that you will have a joyful Pesach.
Que tengan un Pesaj gozoso.
The topic of Exodus, guys, will not be so exhausting.
Que la tema de Éxodo no sea tan exhaustivo.
Rabbi Bernstein done probably definitely more seders than me,
Rabino Bernstein definitivamente ha hecho más ceder que yo,
because he's older.
porque tiene más años.
He can probably tell you it's always some level of chaos, even in Ashkenazi level. It's up to be a chaos.
Probablemente es un nivel constante de caos. Siempre es caos.
But it's called a seder.
Se llama un ceder.
The word seder means order.
Ceder quiere decir orden.
Out of the chaos, God is going to help you, okay?
Del caos, Dios te ayuda, te da orden.
So take a breath.
Toma un respiro.
And that's what we're praying for you.
Y es lo que
Sing
estamos
the
hablando.
songs, bang the table.
Yeah, have a great time.
Golpeen la mesa.
We're praying upon you, even if there will be a chaos in your home these next few days,
Estamos hablando sobre ustedes que aunque haya caos en su casa en estos días,
that when Erev Shabbat coming in,
que cuando llegue el Erev Shabbat,
there will be seder,
haya un ceder.
meaning you will do things in order.
Que queriendo decir que hagan las cosas en orden.
I want to warn you,
Quiero advertirles.
there is this terrible thing that happened in most seders that I must warn you.
Hay una cosa terrible que pasa en muchos ceders que les quiero advertir.
When we get to Shulchan Orech,
Cuando llegamos a Shulchan Aruch,
the seder fall apart, usually.
se desbarata normalmente.
You know that. You know what I'm talking about, Rabbi Bernstein.
¿Qué estoy diciendo?
Brothers and sisters, according to halacha,
Hermanos y hermanas, según Halajá,
you have to get through the Hallel. You have to get through all of them.
Don't just stop because it gets to be a balagan.
Yes.
Going.
muchas personas paran porque es una confusión.
This is my heart to tell you.
Ese es mi corazón para decirles.
Nissan been out now for a couple of years.
Nissan ha sido en publicación unos varios años.
Any Jew who come to your seder table
Cualquier judío que viene a su mesa de ceder
can use the Haggadah the way it is now, and it will be with the tradition of Israel.
puede usar el Haggadah como está en ese momento y va a estar de acuerdo con todas las tradiciones que ellos
I want you to imagine that 600,000 Jewish people are sitting in your seder table this year.
Quiero que imaginen que hay cientos mil judíos ahí en su mesa de ceder contigo.
Don't cut corners.
No hagan las cosas a medias.
Read the commentary.
Lean el comentario.
Talk about Geulah.
Hablen de Geula, redención.
Incorporate the minhagim. Make it an experience of true Exodus.
Las minhagim, que sea una experiencia verdadera.
So we don't just say, "Oh, we've been there and done that." No, every year should be something new.
Para que no digamos simplemente, oh, ya lo hicimos, ya lo hemos experimentado. No,
There is a chidush, there is a brit chadashah here, there is renewal of the covenant. Don't make it the same old.
que no sea lo mismo antiguo.
So I told Robertson this year, new dishes, new everything. We're going crazy. New desserts, everything new in the Shapira family.
Todo en la familia Shapira, nuevo.
Talmud Lamar. Talmud teaches us.
El Talmud nos enseña.
Whenever two or more speak words of Torah,
Cuando dos o más hablan palabras de Torah,
the Shekhinah is there.
Amen.
está ahí.
Amen.
Remember that in all of this chaos, it's understood,
Caos se tiene que entender.
but Hashem is there with us at the
que
same
Hashem
table.
está ahí con nosotros en esa mesa de sed.
Yeah, man, this is exactly true. And Kal v'chomer, you know what it is in the new publication, Rabbi Bernstein?
La publicación nueva.
You know what it said?
What?
Lo que dice,
One who doesn't say Divrei Torah on the Pesach table
Divrei Torah en la mesa de Pesaj.
is not celebrating the Seder at all.
Es como si no celebró el Pesaj.
That's in Pesachim, right?
Yeah. And it's also in Pirkei Avot, there's a reference to this.
Yeah.
You will see this, friend. On the second night,
En la segunda noche,
we invite you to do the Pesach with us. The Seder with us. Seder Pesach.
con nosotros.
You'll see we'll have a lot of fun, a lot of jokes. You will think it's a comedy night.
Va a ser buena noche.
There will be a lot of divrei Torah, but we want you there in second night with us.
Pero creo que ustedes están con nosotros la segunda noche.
So really, honestly, this is our gift to you.
Honestamente, eso es nuestro regalo a ustedes.
And it's opportunity for us to come to the Seder table together.
Para nosotros acercarnos a la mesa de ceder juntos.
So I just want to take a moment and thank the wonderful, wonderful words from Rabbi Bernstein this evening.
Quiero tomar un tiempo para darle gracias, agradecerle al rabino Bernstein para sus palabras especiales.
And seeing so many of you online, bless us. We will do it again for future feasts and festival. Great.
Y viendo ustedes en línea acompañándonos, eso me toca. Lo vamos a hacer.
And Joe, thank you for the translation, Pastor Joe.
Y gracias por la traducción.
So here we go in recap for all of us. Friends, number one.
Y ahora para sumar, número 1.
We will do a broadcast Thursday and Fridays to show you how to do biur chametz and all that good stuff. We'll do it together. Okay?
Vamos a compartir con ustedes en vivo el jueves y viernes para enseñarles cómo hacer esto.
And we will do our very best to do it Spanish, English, same way, okay?
Vamos a hacer lo mejor para tratar de hacerlo inglés y español, igual.
Number 2, this will mean a lot to us if you share the link for the publication with everybody.
Y número 2, va a significar mucho para nosotros si comparten el enlace de esta publicación.
Again, there's no manipulation here. This is our gift to you.
Aquí. Es nuestro regalo para ustedes.
And it's available in 7 languages.
Está disponible en 7 lenguajes.
And then number 3.
Y número 3.
I want to remind you that there is the follow-up publication. It's only $9. It's worth your money.
Esta tenemos mija que tradiciones y no vale mucho dinero, no cuesta mucho dinero, menos de $10.
Just search for Hidden Mashiach in Agadat Pesach, okay?
Buscan por el Mashiach escondido en el Pesaj.
And those who are in the chat, we just put the link.
Los que están en la conversación, ahí les mandé el enlace.
And number 4, I want to remind you, we will put the recipe for matzah shmura to help those who really are in dire need.
Número 4, vamos a enviarles la receta por la matzah shmura.
It's going to be on the same website, pesach.shuvu.tv, okay?
También va a estar en pesach.shuvu.tv.
And lastly, we are looking to see you Motzai Shabbat.
Últimamente anhelamos verlos en este Shabbat.
And we're going to make it a teaching seder, but fun seder as well for all of us.
Un seder de enseñanza, pero también de diversión para todos.
And then lastly, and Rabbi Bernstein did not speak about this, but in the Chagim, in those very high days.
Y algo que Rabino Bernstein no habló, en esos Hagim, en los días últimamente santos.
There's a very special, important mitzvah.
Hay una mitzvah muy especial.
Of tzedakah.
De tzedakah.
We really, you see what happened today with the chief Sephardic rabbi, an amazing encounter.
Con el rabino, gran rabino, sefardí, tuvimos un encuentro asombroso.
Please consider supporting us so we can continue to give and give and give. That's what we love to do.
Por favor, consideren apoyándonos para que podamos seguir dando y apoyando.
Also, we're going to make available again the counting of the Omer. Nobody asked today about the Omer, but we will make this also available as we start to count.
Disponible también la publicación por el conteo del Omer. Eso nadie ha preguntado sobre eso, pero ya está aproximando.
So thank you everybody for your support. Thank you for your generosity.
Por su generosidad.
We pray upon all of you and your families. Chag, Pesach, Kasher, v'Sameach. Blessed and kosher Pesach.
Un Pesach bendecido y santificado.
God bless you. And again,
Dios los bendiga.
If we didn't answer your questions,
no contestamos sus preguntas,
please, this video is being posted. We will monitor it and we will do our very best.
Ese video lo vamos a repartir y vamos a estar monitoreando los comentarios lo mejor que podamos y podemos contestarlos.
God bless you, Laila Tov. It was a pleasure being with you.
Laila Tov, fue bendición estar con ustedes esta noche.